Hey guys, this is Jack. I'm making a quick video showing you how to install my Black Ops 1 Zombies mod, Reimagined Expanded, in case you need a little help. So first thing I'm going to do is go as quickly as possible to install the mod, and then the back half of the video I'll take a look at some errors and I'll go through the files and show you what you're downloading here. So first thing to do, I'll leave a link to my GitHub in the description. Want to go to release download, download a zip file from my Amazon hosting site. Alright, so it'll download and come over here. And I already extracted it to save some time, downloaded it. So here's all the files you need. So let's go over into Steam. Let's go Black Ops and manage browse local files. Great, pulls up our local Black Ops window. Alright, so I'm actually going to go ahead, we'll just do it like this. Okay, so see Call of Duty Black Ops, everything that's in here belongs in your Call of Duty Black Ops folder, so it will put them in there for us. If you install mods on Black Ops already, it'll ask you to replace some files you may have in common. You can do that, you can skip, doesn't matter too much. I'll just go ahead and replace. Okay. So this downloaded a couple things. The mod is going to be in your mods folder. I have a bunch of stuff. It's going to be in Reimagined Expanded. Only files you need to run the mod. Okay, this part's important. You have to run the mod by using a batch file. The batch file injects the mod dynamically into your game using a game mod. Okay, so you're just going to have this one, this Reimagined Expanded. I have a bunch because I do dev work. But you're just going to have Reimagined Expanded, and you can see if we edit this and take a look at it in Notepad, you can see what we're doing is we're launching game mod, and it's injecting my mod via game mod, which is something else I gave you in my download. Talk about that in a little bit. Okay, so if we run this, we see the command line. It asks to run as admin. Then our game window will come up. And you know it's installed properly because you can see game, you can see there's a few extra settings here that you wouldn't have in your normal Black Ops. Okay? So that's how you know it's installed correctly. Alright, so now I'll go ahead and give you a little more details if you have questions about what you're downloading or maybe having some trouble. So there's a lot of files in here. I tried to make it as easy as possible to do the install. Black Ops mods are a little different from other games. You need a little more support. Maybe from if you've installed mods on Black Ops 3 or maybe some other games. Okay, so for Black Ops, we need a couple fancy files here. This is an executable. This is essentially game mod here. An executable that injects the mod dynamically into the game for you. That is how we have to run mods on Black Ops because it's a bit older, or the best way we found to go ahead and do it. I haven't done this, but the people who wrote this, awesome people. I'll leave the little link to game mod, the GitHub page, so you can download it fresh if you like to. They haven't updated their repo in a couple years, but I added it in my zip file just to make it as easy as possible to do the installation all in one go. This is also part of game mod here, and so is this this zone file, this FF. Okay, so you need all of that to run the mod. In the players folder here, you can see this is also kind of part of my mod. This is a config file. You will have a players folder after you attempt to run the game, and you'll have your you'll have a config file in here probably, and then you'll have a mods folder once you install my mod and try and run it. And so this is just different key bindings, different console commands. Okay, so what I've given you here, this dev config, this is the config file I use for development. Gives you a couple free guns that I use for testing. If you press the right buttons, God mode, no clip. So you can take a look at this if you like, and if you want to play around with it you can see what I also did is I also mapped all the F keys to different maps, so you can start them instantly once you get in the game. You don't have to click on go into zombies mode, you can just hit this key. So if you want to use this, then just rename this dev config to config, and you'll be using this config file. Okay. One thing I want to note is that one of the errors you could get, you could have trouble starting up the game. It could appear to load, like you get the icon on your taskbar, but it doesn't come up. Sometimes that's because of the full screen. So maybe your full screen will be set to 1. Open up this file or the config one, set it to 0, put it in windowed mode. Sometimes that lets you, makes it start working. If your game is already in window, try setting it to full screen. Just something that happens, little glitch in the game sometimes. Okay, so a couple more items here. This is the bat file that I gave you. This is how you run the mod. What I recommend doing is create a shortcut on this guy. Once you've of course installed it into the right directory, create a shortcut to this guy, put it in your, put it on your home screen, so you can just run the mod by double clicking that. Otherwise you're gonna have to go into your local files to run the mod every time. Okay, you'll probably forget at some point that you have to use this to run the game, and you'll just try and start up Black Ops normally. The mod won't work, you'll wonder why. It's because you have to run it with this guy. So create a shortcut, put it on your home screen, double click him, and that'll get the mod running properly. This is a PowerShell script that I've included with my mod to allow you to update it, because this is the alpha release and I'm planning on making more updates later. Okay, so if we take a look at this in PowerShell, okay, so what we're doing is this is where all the files are stored on Amazon, and like I said, this is where the mod content is actually stored. It's just in these two files here. So if you run this file, it'll update the most recent version of these files that I have pushed to Amazon. Okay, I'm not going to update the release very frequently, maybe a few times if there's major bugs or in future releases. But if you want to comment this out and get the unstable version, these are going to be whatever changes I'm making on a day-to-day basis. So this version of the game may be kind of buggy, but it will go through and it will download the mod FF and the IWD from whatever most recent version of the game I'm working on. So when I add some perks or fix a bug or add a new feature, and I'm just playing with my friends or testing stuff on different machines, I'm going to be pushing my most recent copies here. So you could download the most recent copies if you flip this to unstable. You're going to have to run a command on PowerShell on your machine to get this to run. Windows is going to be very scared. It is dangerous to run random PowerShell scripts on the internet. So you got to trust me, or just take a look at the code, see for yourself if it's safe. I think that's all to mention about here. You don't need to run this often. One thing I will note is that you'll have difficulty trying to play the mod with your friends if you are on 2 different versions of the mod. Okay, so if you're on the unstable version, the most recent version, and they're running the release because they just downloaded the zip file, then you're going to get stuck in the loading screen on waiting for players, if it even lets you get that far. So if you want to play the unstable solo, or you want to play this with your friends, then they need to download the mod and then run this and get the unstable version, or you need to go back, switch this to release and download the release version again. You guys need to be on the same version to be able to play, or else it won't let you. This Black Ops is glitchy enough. Okay, so that's all for the files. I mentioned you could get the full screen issue with loading the game. Use the batch file to run the mod, or else it won't run for you. Sometimes when you are in the game and you hit zombies to go to zombies mode, it will just say connecting. It'll try and connect to the Call of Duty servers. This will fail every time, so as soon as it gets connecting, just exit out of the game completely and restart Black Ops with the bat file and try again. And if it keeps giving you connecting, that's why I gave you the dev config. So if you just want to play solo, set the dev config as your main config, then hit one of the F keys, F4 is Derice, F1 is knocked, so on and so forth. Hit one of the F keys, it'll start whatever map you want to play, just without even touching the zombies button, if that keeps happening to you. If you want to play multiplayer, then you're going to have to keep hitting zombies until it doesn't give both of you the connecting error and you can actually get into a lobby, a private match. It doesn't take that long, but it does happen sometimes, and it's frustrating if you don't know what's happening. Last thing I will mention is that if you get some texture issues with your game, make sure you have both the multiplayer and the regular version downloaded. Okay, you should never have to use this guy at all. Remember, you shouldn't really have to use this guy either, because unless you want to just play the vanilla game. But you shouldn't have to use him, but you do need to download this because it has some textures in here. Okay, so make sure this is downloaded. Sometimes the settings shader warming, there's a shader warming setting in your settings. Turn that to no. That can affect the texture sometimes. Otherwise, I'll leave my Discord in the video description, and you can ask me if you have any other issues or errors. Okay, thank you so much for downloading, and have a wonderful day. Bye.